I love Jujutsu Kaisen, but the way some of the characters in the story were treated makes me so mad. I mean, come on. Jujutsu Kaisen's cast of characters has an insane level of consistency when it comes to the most important superficial factor in choosing what manga to read or what show to watch. All of the characters are cool as fuck and have copious amounts of aura. It's that reason right there that this series, particularly its ending, gives me such a massive headache. In this video, I want to go over my list of characters that I think were overall wasted in the grand scheme of Jujutsu Kaisen's manga. Now, this list comprises of characters that hit 3 key criteria. Number 1, these characters need to have been set up as important characters, but they didn't live up to their overall potential that we expected from them. So, I'm sorry to say, Toji is not going to be on this list. Number 2, this character needs to have more to explore, so no Gojo and no Mai. Sorry. And number 3, curse users only. This means no Itadori's dad and no Gary K. Johnson. If you happen to be the only Gary K. Johnson fan on the planet, by the way, you should hit the like button, because I think I'm the only person in YouTube history to ever say that character's full name. Awesome. Now that we've covered the rules, let's run it. Up first on this list is a character that's introduced at the same time as everyone's favorite gambler, Hikari. Kirara is one of the 2 third years at Tokyo Jujutsu High, and frankly, as someone who's directly involved with Kinji Hikari himself, I expected them to be a lot more involved in the story than they were. I also think Kirara's curse technique is easily one of the cooler ones in the manga, because I mean, come on, it is basically just discount flying Raijin, and who doesn't like that? Plus, Kirara's fight against Fushiguro during the perfect preparation arc. Wait a sec. Is that really what it's called? What the Anyway, Kirara's fight against Fushiguro during the perfect preparation arc was a stellar introduction, showing us as readers the potential for greatness this character had, while they were quickly adapting their technique as Megumi began to figure it out mid-fight. Part of the problem with this is that it was a 2v1, being Panda and Megumi against Kirara, and Kirara was still able to adapt and mostly fend them off. This 2v1 really did add to the hype I had for this character, but in hindsight, I definitely should have known that Kirara was going to end up a bum, because while their powers reflect Minato from Naruto, their powers also reflect everyone's favorite bum from One Piece, Eustace Captain Kidd. And just like Kidd, Kirara had no impact on this story whatsoever. Credit needs to be given where credit's due. They did come in clutch during the Sukuna fight. All right, let's get this one out of the way before all the memes start going off. Miwa, the GOAT, my Jujutsu Kaisen, Kasumi, I think is her last name. I don't fucking know. You guys think I do research for these things? The answer is yes. Miwa was 100% though top 3 Kyoto students for me in the beginning. During that tournament arc, oh my god, swordswoman, mwah, mwah, magnificent. Obviously though, she was below these 2, which is why her lack of presence toward the end of the story hurt me so much. Especially because my GOAT, the coldest of the cold Kusakabe, had such a fun showing towards the end of the fight against Sukuna. And granted, yeah, Miwa is basically just worse Kusakabe in every way possible. So I don't think her being any more involved in the fight against Sukuna makes sense for her, but I would have liked her to go with Yuta to see Kenjaku get murked. She would, of course, still be mad. Yeah, that was brutal. It's because of this resentment that I think it would have been really cool to see her more involved during the culling game, perhaps even cursing Kenjaku to her last breath. I really like vengeance arcs that don't end well for the character, and frankly, I still think Sasuke should have died against Itachi. Well, going out that way would have been cool, that's all. Or at least doing something. But the sword people cut things, Gege, please. Why does the forearmed freak who doesn't even have a sword get to cut things, but the sword people don't? I don't understand, Gege. Please fix it. Ah! Sticking with the Kyoto school members, y'all remember when I mentioned this fella? Noritoshi Kamo had so much aura when he was introduced that I made the mistake of thinking he'd be relevant. His fighting as Megumi is still easily one of my favorites in the series, but him being named after one of the bodies that Kenny used to use in the past? What a great setup. And that setup has absolutely zero payoff whatsoever. See, Kamo was cool, but I can't help but feel like Choso took any and all spotlight that he could have had as a character in this story. I mean, Choso is just a strictly better Kamo, which seems to be a pattern here. Usually when there's one character that can do one cool thing, it feels like Gege just, instead of developing that one character, introduces one that is better in almost every way. And with characters like Choso, this is fine, but I still am a little bit resentful of Kusakabe taking Miwa's spot, So I just wanted to add this in. This is ad-libbed. Despite Choso being way easier to tie into the main plot than Kamo, with him being directly related to our protagonist Itadori, navigating the intricacies of the great Jujutsu families is always going to be high up on my lists of what-ifs for the JJK story. Kamo may have been exiled from his family, but I didn't care because I never really got to know his family. I didn't get to see him interact with his family. Hell, I barely got to interact with Kamo. And this sucked, man. Especially because of the brilliance that we got with the Zenin clan massacre. Itachi just wishes he was that cold, man. See, Kamo suffers from something that on occasion afflicts the coolest of characters. I like to call this aura death, where one bad haircut can ruin everything for you. Ichigo, I'm looking at you, buddy. Time and time again, we've seen characters like Ichigo cut their hair at the end of the series and lose so much aura. Kamo fell to the same fate. One character that never had aura, though, and this may make people mad, is Tengen. Tengen comes in next on the list, and I'm what you may refer to as a Tengen hate merchant. Now that the manga is basically over, did Tengen's existence have any consequence other than the death of a bad bitch and a kid? I mean, Tengen received so much hype. Merger this and merger that. Oldest Jujutsu sorcerer this, oldest Jujutsu sorcerer that. Ooh, spooky. Part of the reason Tengen drives me so insane is because Tengen would have been an awesome tool to learn about the rest of the world through, which is one of JJK's biggest flaws, the lack of exploration into the larger world that it takes place in. Now, of course, if you've talked to any JJK fan for 5 minutes, you would know about the fabled Heian era flashback, the flashback that could have been. But Sukuna wasn't the only vessel to explore the world through. In my opinion, both Kenjaku and Tengen would have made exponentially better narrative tools to explore this world, and this flashback especially. I mean, Sukuna would have just been massacring people left and right, and we already saw that in the modern day. Tengen, however, has seen all of relevant Jujutsu history, and Kenny was doing whatever the fuck Kenjaku does. See, I'm a big fan of world building, but with much of the groundwork set early for this mysterious Jujutsu society that Gojo wants to change and Geto wants to dominate, we interact with these world building concepts throughout the story very sparingly. And I'm taking my anger out on Tengen because Tengen would have been a way to explore some of this. Why are the higher-ups bad? Like, really? Can we please learn about it? Tell us the history, Tengen. You saw it. Hell, you are credited with bringing sorcery to the larger world. Now we're at the point where I want to take a quick breather and thank Gege Akutami-sensei for their hard work writing this story that I enjoy oh so much. You saw him in the thumbnail. Let's talk about Kashimo. Kashimo is in a similar boat to Tengen, but honestly, I clickbaited you guys. I don't think Kashimo is a wasted character. He's on this list because I know people will complain if he isn't, but he is the only incarnation from the culling game besides Angel that has any effect on the larger story at all. And I think him losing to Sukuna was good. I am very happy with the way that fight went, especially him just jumping in right after Gojo goes down. Mwah. Gege cooked with that one. Don't you remember what I said? I really like vengeance arcs that don't end well for the character. Miguel. Miguel is one of the few standout characters in JJK Volume 0 that is not a member of the main cast. But oh my god. I mean, come on. That fight with Gojo was so good. And what they did for the movie? Oh my god. He has a beret. He's dripped out in black and white. And he uses a curse-imbued object with limited usage from far that way in Africa. Aura! But more importantly than him looking cool and him having a cool aesthetic, he provides us one of the only glimpses of what curse users are like outside of Japan. Off the top of my head, he might actually be the only example we see from outside the country. This missed opportunity to explore the larger world is similar to my complaints about Tengen and Kamo. But the reason Miguel makes it higher on this list is because a member of the main cast was with him in Africa during events in the main story. My goat, my king, my Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuta Okotsu. Yuta was taken to Africa to train as a special grade sorcerer. So they must have something over there that's worth showing us as readers, right? Like, who could he have possibly learned from? What insane curses could they have over there that could help him learn things like reverse curse technique. What makes matters worse is this could have easily been tied into the main story, unlike a flashback for something like the Heian era, which would have taken us out of the suspenseful time that is the modern day. Look, I just want the memes to be real of Yuta and Miguel dancing in Africa, but I want it to be on panel, okay? I want to see Yuta and Miguel have a dance-off with the next two people on our list. It's time! Maharaga! Megumi Fushiguro. Wait, what the? I'll talk about it. Uraume. Instead of talking about the man who wields the 10 shadows, let's talk about the man who lives in Sukuna's shadow. Uraume has been on screen since chapter 53, and in the over 400 chapters since then, has done so much cool stuff, like stand there, free stuff towards the end of Shibuya, and this. Uraume had the potential to be so cool. I got you with a nice pun. I got you. Yeah, I got you. Ice puns aside, though, Uraume did have everyone in Shibuya shivering with fear until Yuki Tsukumo showed up. This alone is an impressive feat, right? But being a direct subordinate of Ryomen Sukuna, who doesn't immediately get bisected every time they speak to him, is incredible, and frankly is one of the best feats in the entire series. Plus, ice powers are easily one of the coldest abilities in anime or manga besides lightning powers. So I had really high hopes for this character going into the end of the series, but see, Uraume would be number one, but there's one key player missing from this list that takes the cake. We haven't seen him yet, and you all know who it is. I don't think there's a single JJK fan who didn't have high expectations for this character. So, let's talk about the main event. But before we talk about him, I see you over there. You haven't hit the like button yet. Wait, you haven't hit the subscribe button either? Oh, I get it. You have bad taste or something. It's okay. We can fix that. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and you can prove to everyone else that you have amazing taste because you've subscribed to Lettuce-Eating Walrus. Hikari, and yes, I'm gonna white boy dance this entire section. Hikari is a man said to be on par with Yuta, a man hyped by Gojo to one day surpass him. And you know what? Hikari did surpass him. Hikari took the crown from Gojo of the single worst off-screen in modern manga history. I thought to myself after Gojo died that there could not be a single outcome worse in writing in manga ever than the final attack of Sukuna and Gojo being off-screened. Boy, was I wrong. Hikari had everything needed to be my favorite character in the entire series. Awesome power, check. Not too edgy, check. And gambling, more gambling. But as a Hikari fanboy, my levels of delusion surpassed even Todo once I heard there were 5 chapters left in this manga. Also, I'm not dancing anymore. I thought Gege could pull it off. I have faith in Gege Akutami, and I don't think they deserve as much hate as they've gotten. I thought we'd see Hikari and Uraume, but nope. Instead, we got this piece of art. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. 6 out of 10 is what I would have said when I wrote this video, but after writing this video, Higuruma is alive. So 5 out of 10, he's an honorable mention because that guy should be dead. But hey, if you think I forgot anybody, let me know in the comments and call it out, boys. Lettuce eating walrus. Bye.